What's happening, everybody? Trey here, and today, reactions to the classics. It is time to get our early Alice in Chains on, as I'm going to be doing a full album reaction to their debut record, Facelift. This suggestion is coming courtesy today of our longtime friend, patron, and Alice in Chains fan, Carl, man, really looking forward to this. I'm familiar with Dirt, really familiar with Dirt by Alice in Chains, and honestly, it might be my favorite grunge record of all time. So looking forward to diving into this, where I think I only know Man in the Box, and this is gonna be a fun one, man. So without further ado, let's get to the quick facts here. As I mentioned, debut studio record released in August of 1990 by Columbia, went to 42 on the Billboard charts, and was the first album from the grunge movement to be certified as gold. So a little bit about the history of Alice in Chains here. We had a local promoter by the name of Randy Houser, becoming aware of them at a concert, offered to pay for their demo recordings. However, one day before the band was due to record at the Music Bank studio in Washington, police shut down the studio during the biggest marijuana raid in the state's history. The final demo, dubbed the Treehouse Tapes, found its way to managers Kelly Curtis and Susan Silver, who also managed the Seattle-based Soundgarden. Curtis and Silver passed the demo to Columbia Records A&R representative Nick Terzo, who set up an appointment with label president Don Einer. Based on the Treehouse tapes sold by the band at their shows, Einer signed Alice in Chains to Columbia in 1989, and then the rest was history, as they say. They became a top priority for the label and released their first official recording in July, the promotional EP We Die Young. Its lead single and title song became a hit on metal radio, and once that had success, the label rushed their debut record out into production with the producer Dave Jordan. Drummer Sean Kinney claims to have played the album as well with a broken hand. Quote, "I almost didn't play on the record. They started rehearsing with the drummer from Mother Love Bone, Greg Gilmore. I was sitting there playing with one hand, guiding him through it. Dave Jordan came in and they started to try to do it. He was like, screw it, pull the plug. This is not going to be the same. Luckily, we took a tiny bit of time off. I had that cast on for a while and was like, I can't miss this. I cut my cast off in the studio, kept a bucket of ice by the drum set, kept my hand iced down, and played with a broken hand. I tried not to do that again. Your first big break, and you F it up." Jerry Cantrell, some of the heart and soul, of course, of Alice in Chains, their guitarist, stated the album was intended to have a moody aura that was a direct result of the brooding atmosphere and feel of Seattle. A photo of bassist Mike Starr was chosen on as the album cover. After seeing the photo, the band decided to name the record Facelift, and it wasn't an instant success, actually. It sold under 40,000 copies in its first month of release until MTV added the Man in the Box to its daytime rotation. Yet again, man, MTV helping prop some of these bands up. And it was rated as the 14th best grunge record by Rolling Stone magazine. And all songs are written by Jerry Cantrell, except where we note. So, man, looking forward to this. Going to have the lyrics pulled up for all of these. And hopefully it'll be able to be up in full. But if it's not, due to copyright, there will be a link to Vimeo that you can check out the full reaction, uncut, free of charge. Shout out to the patrons who help keep that going, man. So we're going to start this thing off with We Die Young. In the liner notes of that 1999 Music Bank box set collection, Cantrell said of the track, "I just temporarily moved in with Susan Silver because Sean Kinney and I had just had a fight. I was riding the bus to rehearsal and I saw all these 9, 10, 11-year-old kids with beepers dealing drugs. The sight of a 10-year-old kid with a beeper and a cell phone dealing drugs equaled We Die Young to me." Ooh, man, you know with Alice in Chains, you ain't going to get any light affair, man. So quite looking forward to this. Let's kick it off. Starting this thing off strong with We Die Young. I think there's a bit of a comparison you can make to the start of Dirt when it starts with Them Bones. They're both similar lengths. Bring that heaviness right away as this track does. I think it set that brooding atmosphere that they were probably trying to get here. And once you read Jerry's explanation of the track with the kids who were the drug dealers, the chorus, "And we die young, faster we run," it kind of hits a little bit harder whenever you have those images in your head of these kids running away. We play on that theme of then you got hit and you should have known better. The talking, I like that word hit. You got hit either in the face, you got hit as in drugs, whatever the case may be, man. Lane's voice just coming in so awesome, man. He's one of my favorite vocalists, not only in rock but of all time. I think there's just such power and emotion that he can pack in, and whenever him and Jerry kind of come come in together. It's just it's beautiful, man. Heavy guitars just washing over you. What a way to start this album off. And we're just gonna keep the hits rolling with Man in the Box coming out. What a 1-2 punch this is right here. Man in the Box, written actually by Lane here. We released as a single in 1991 in January. Went to 18 on the mainstream rock chart and nominated for a Grammy Award in 1992. Was actually the second most played song of the decade on mainstream rock radio this past decade, from 2010 to 2019. So just shows the staying power that AIC and this song still have all these years later. In the liner notes to their Music Bank Box collection, Cantrell said of the song, "That whole beat and grind of that is when we started to find ourselves. It helped Alice become what it was." It also makes use of a talk box in here, which I think gives it a bit of that unique flair to create that driving effect here. The idea of using a talk box came from producer Dave Jordan, who was driving to the studio one day when Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer" started playing on the radio. Would not have put those two songs together, but hey man, inspiration comes from everywhere. Lane actually had an interview with Rolling Stone in 92 and said about the origins of the song's lyrics, quote, "I started writing about censorship. Around the same time, we went out for dinner with some Columbia Records people who were vegetarians. They told me how veal was made from calves raised in these small boxes. That image stuck in my head. So I went home and wrote about government censorship and eating meat as seen through the eyes of a doomed calf." Jerry said about the track, it's basically about how the government and media control the public's perception, events in the world, or whatever, and they build you into a box by feeding it to you in your home. And it's just about breaking out of that box, looking outside of it, and looking outside of what has been built for you. Love this tune, man. So let's get into it. All right, Man in the Box, man. What an iconic song that sounds so hard-hitting even to this day, all these decades later. Lane's voice here is just so top-notch, especially when it soars once that chorus hits. The "Feed My Eyes" line, just so beautiful in that. The talk box used on that guitar is just so expertly done, gives it such a unique sound. It sounds just a bit out of this world at times, man. And lyrics, man, that are hard hitting. I really like the technique they used on the chorus of having Lane saying, "Feed my eyes, Jesus Christ, he who tries, feed my eyes." And yet in between those lines, you have Jerry. It seems like his vocals are a bit treated as well. Maybe he's speaking as the government system or whatever you want to say that's keeping this person in the box, saying, "Can you sew them shut? Deny your maker, will be wasted. Now you've sewn them." I think in context that kind of works, where you're trying to do the right thing and then all these other factors are trying to put you into that box, man. Guitar solo by Jerry here towards the end is just out of this world as well. Like I can't say anything bad about Man in the Box, man. One of the great grunge songs of all time, honestly. And shoot, it might not even be in my top 5 Alice in Chains. So that just shows you how many great songs AIC has. And now I don't know any of the other songs on here, so we're gonna see what other favorites I might have in store as we now go to Sea of Sorrow. Went to 27 on the Billboard mainstream rock charts, and it's about all the research we got on it. So let's buckle up for 6 minutes here. All right, Sea of Sorrow, man, packing a heavy punch in here. So much to enjoy about this song as well. Really thought this was a great track, a great jam right here. So much happening in 6 minutes, man. Starting off again with those heavy chords raining down from Cantrell, man. Before we get into some of those lyrics from Lane that I quite enjoyed, man. Mind of destructive taste. I chose to stroll amongst the waste. That was your heart, lost in the dark. Call off the chase. Just that dark lyricism and imagery that sets you in the mood to what the music is as well. And then Jerry and Lane kind of come together in that pre-chorus on the "You Opened Fire." And then your mark was true. You opened fire. Aim my smiling skull at you. How you like that for a line right there, man? That brutality never sounded so sweet right there. And the chorus as well. well makes use of that good rhyming at the end. I live tomorrow, you I'll not follow as you wallow in a sea of sorrow. Again, noting and wondering why this man's kind of getting laughed at, kind of beaten down, and how he's not gonna follow this person anymore if they're making him feel like this. Essentially, man, Cantrell delivered yet again a wonderful guitar solo towards the end of that song. I thought that Sean's drumming performance was just really on point as well. It aided in that power, and kind of switched gears a couple times too. Stripped everything back, went into a bit more traditional kind of hard rock riffs before going back into that more kind of grunge heavy sound as well. So I enjoyed that one, and we're gonna now go to Bleed the Freak, the third single from this album. Jerry said about this, the song is us against the world, those people who have put you down. Quote, I put up with many years of you putting us down and watching us bleed. Now I'd like to see you bleed some back. Ooh, that intensity. Let's get it. Bleed the Freak coming in here, man. Man, the hits just keep coming. What a strong start to this album. Enjoyed this one too, because we had Jerry take a little bit more prominent use of the vocals in the verses especially, and then that chorus just comes in hitting you with so much power, and Lane's voice harmonizing was quite strong in this tune as well, which is I think a feather in Alice in Chains' cap, man. That's one of the reasons that I'm so drawn to him, on top of the great lyricism and the heaviness and the instrumentation. The fact that Jerry and Lane can just play off and be so beautiful in their harmonies together against this heavy music is really a cool deal. And still, this chorus as well, quite catchy and even melodic, and that's not always the case in this type of music, man. So I think they're able to blend so many different styles and ideas together, and they somehow just make it all work. And this song is no different. A lot of religious imagery on this from the intro, and my cup runneth over like blood from a stone. Even the name your God and bleed the freak. I'd like to see how you all would bleed for me. When the sin lies bolder, I'll pluck out thine eye. We just get a lot of that throughout this song, on top of another strong solo by Jerry here towards the end, man. And you can just kind of tell, man, these guys are down and out, and it seems like if they do one thing wrong, man, it's gonna be time to bleed out from these other people coming at them, type of deal. So a lot of different, I think, interpretations you can kind of run with and resonate with, and I can see why this was also a single. And we're gonna go now to I Can't Remember. This one was written by Staley and Cantrell, a little 1-2 punch, so let's get after it. All right, I Can't Remember, again, a very dense song that makes the most use of its time here. Lyrically, a dude that's just been drained, who's seems very depressed and out of it, man. He even says, excuse the tude, but I haven't eaten today. My eyes are turning gray. Then he's asked the question, what's your name? That's how we get to the chorus. I can't remember. I can't remember. Feel my favorite lines. Feel the pain and keep it all until you die. Without eyes, you cannot cry. And somebody asks him, hey, who's to blame? Then we get to that chorus again, that answer to this other person's question. I can't remember. I can't remember. And then we get a little callback to Bleed the Freak at the very end, where he says, you took everything but my will to be. Now the loss of your God won't make me bleed. And we finish with that outro of I Am Alive. A couple really impressive notes by Lane on here, hitting those high notes. And yet again, just that heaviness that washes over you in that instrumentation, man. It really fits the somber and dark nature of the lyricism, and I can see how that can turn some people off. But me, man, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, man. I dug that one, and now we will move on to Love Hate Love, going, I think, the lengthiest track on here, 6.5 minutes, written by Lane. Cantrell said it's the masterpiece of the record, adding that the song was with the Lane's vocals are amazing, and that it features one of his favorite guitar solos he ever performed. Well, with that built up, I'm ready to cue this one up. All right, Love, Hate, Love. Just, again, that darkness coming in here. It made the most use of its time, man. I can see why Cantrell said it was one of his favorite solos. A bit different, bit more drawn out, not going fast with the riffs or anything, but really just kind of giving a bit of that, yet again, that uneasy vibe, which is reflected in those lyrics here about this guy who seems a little off in the head talking about his relationship with this girl, noting, I tried to love you, I thought I could. I tried to own you, I thought I would. I want to peel the skin from your face before the real you lays waste. I guess that there's that facelift little line in there if you wanted to read into that. And he even is a bit introspective and knows himself that he's off here. He says, try to understand me, little girl, my twisted passion to be your world. Lost inside my sick head, I live for you, but I'm not alive. Take my hands before I kill. I still love you, but I still burn. Then we get into that very passionate ending, the love, hate, love, where Lane just, again, crushes it on here. Again, quite enjoyed those harmony instances between Jerry and him, and just a big standout track for me on this one so far. I can see how others might like some of the shorter tunes that maybe go a little bit faster. This one took its time, man, and I think here in the album that was a wise decision, man. Let's take a step back here and shout out to them, man. It worked quite well, and now we're gonna go. As we start the second half of this record, It Ain't Like That. It came out of a riff that Cantrell cited as a mistake. However, he called it a cool mistake. So let's see what we got here. All right, It Ain't Like That coming in with a very almost heavy metal like riff right here, which I enjoyed, man. It was different than anything Cantrell had done up to this point. I think this song is definitely a showcase for him. He's the MVP of it. Had a solo then towards the end, and even in that last 10 seconds kind of went off and did something different with it. As the song itself, man, still enjoyed it. It's going to be a bit middle of the road for me on this record, which I think just goes to show how strong the top tier songs are on this thing, but I still liked it. I think the line, behind the smile, a tongue that's slipping, buzzards cry when flesh is ripping. Then that chorus, see the cycle I've waited for, it ain't like that anymore. There's almost a sense of like this guy's gonna maybe take a little bit more maybe control of his life and stop just taking what's given to him. I think in a sense he knows that he's writing on the paper, trying to think of words you can't ignore. He's going to be heard, I think, now a little bit. So all in all, man, yet again, I'm just going to go back. That riff, man, was the MVP for me on this track. And now we're going to go to the song Sunshine, and this was a personal song to Cantrell. He told Spin Magazine in 1991 that he wrote the track about his mom's death, saying, when I was a little kid, I'd always tell her, I'll be famous and buy you a house and you'll never have to work again. I'll take care of you like you took care of me. When she passed away, it was a really bad time for me. I didn't know how to deal with it then, and I still don't, but it gave me the impetus to do what I'm doing. He wrote the song in LA after AIC had moved from Seattle to Los Angeles after the death of the great Andrew Wood, lead vocalist of Mother Love Bone. All right, Sunshine, bringing it, man. Obviously a song packed with emotion and the lyricism, and also in that guitar playing by Cantrell here, man. Cantrell, such a great guitarist that can pull off a lot of different styles, and I think this record is a showcase of that. He's really impressing me here, and I'm curious what y'all think, because in the chorus, then some dude came down to touch mother touched, and dude ain't here no more. I'm just thinking, knowing the backstory, that's the Grim Reaper, or death coming down to touch his mom, and she touched death and obviously isn't here no more. He asked some questions. Am I worth the value? Do my love defile? He continues then towards the end. We get that refrain, sunshine, sweet love, my labor. Don't mind, I don't care no more. And then he kind of yearns again for his mom, which is, interesting here, where, Cantrell's writing this personal song, and, you have Elaine singing this here. It's kind of neat how their partnership worked. He says, I don't care no more. Mother, please come for me. Can you face the question, is my soul entire? And then we just finish with some really strong vocals by Lane at the end there. A touching little song there in its own grungy type of way, man. Cool to see that kind of softness and a tribute into this heavier type of sound. Now we're gonna take it to Put You Down. Let's get it. All right, Put You Down. Only 3 minutes here, man. So short on AIC standards, and a bit of an up-tempo rocker here, man. Kept that pace up, and had a bit more like positive sound, if you will. But the lyricism, man, touching on something that would be touched on Dirt a lot in songs like Sick Man and Junkhead, amongst many others, of addiction, of substance issues, man. He notes body over mind, it's slower. Reduction is addictive to personality overview. And then we get into the chorus. I just can't put you down. I can see what it all means to me. Honey, I don't need you, but I just can't put you down. He notes that hard drinker, feeling uptight, your maker, mine, it's slower. And then put you down, gonna put you down. I thought that was a pretty catchy bridge, I guess you would call it, there towards the end. And man, those final lines, if you need a rhyme to kill the singer, shoot me dead before I may be through. I'm noticing on a lot of these Alice in Chains tracks as well, like the lyrics usually go up literally to the final seconds, man. They pack their songs in with a lot of just a lot of content, and it works well. And again, even if this might not be amongst the top tier, it's still a really strong song in my estimation. So we got 3 tunes left. We're going to go to Confusion, which was actually written by Cantrell and Mike Starr, a name I haven't brought up a lot, even though I've enjoyed the bass work on here, and he's also on backing vocals on this track. So let's get it. All right, Confusion bringing the heat here, man. One of my favorites actually on the record. Loved what the guys did with this one, especially in Staley's vocal delivery. He really stretched out each word in that first verse until we got to the end, man. It was a burst of energy, almost a preview of what we would get on whenever the end of the first verse of Rooster comes in. I was kind of getting similar vibes there. And just that chorus, oddly catchy, man. I want to set you free. Yeah, recognize my disease, love, sex, pain, confusion. Great harmonies in that with the backing vocals coming, and you're there crying, I feel not a thing, drilling my way deeper in your head, sinking, draining, drowning, bleeding. So you got that love, sex, pain, confusion contrasted with the sinking, draining, drowning, bleeding lines. Just everything about this worked, man. You get yet again the sense of this guy who is obviously very confused and kind of at his wit's end right there, and with this other person, knowing that they're in a better state that he is, but the longer he's around him, the more I think he's getting drilled down deep into her head. And he notes now there's time to give it all. I put my fears behind again, on skin knees will crawl. And earlier he said on skin knees I crawl, so maybe that adds a little bit to the where I'm taking you down with me type of a vibe that I was getting on this track, man. So great song right there. And we got 2 left, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go now to I Know Something About You. All right, I Know Something, bringing it, man. And I like this. Was yet again quite different sounding than anything else. We started with a little bass introduction by Mike Starr here, who just killed it. The rhythm on this track was fantastic. Honestly a bit funky at that time, blending that funk, grunge, metal-esque sound together in a really well done way. Lyrically, man, just knowing about Lane and how his life unfortunately turned out. Lane here is talking to this subject, whether that be drugs or actually another person. I think you could even interpret it either way, but why can't I put your words away? I'd like to have more of you in my veins. I'm going to tell your papa, yeah, I'm going to try and ball your babe. And then that chorus was my favorite part of the song, where they use the man in the box technique again, where Jerry's coming in at the same time that Lane's singing, but Jerry's kind of a bit more in the background, almost like his vocals are treated a little bit on your face, in my space, I tell you, I know something about you. And he just kind of continues that a little bit. And again, a great solo here. And man, they packed a bunch, man. I yet again got to shout out Mike Starr for that killer bass performance. And now we're gonna finish this thing off, y'all, with Real Thing. And this one written by Lane, actually, and he has this line at the end, sexual chocolate baby, was a reference to the film Coming to America, starring the hilarious and legendary Eddie Murphy. So let's get this one queued up, y'all, and afterwards I'll give my favorite tracks and overall score to this great record. All right, Real Thing ending us off in a fiery vocal performance by the great Lane Staley right here, man. I don't think there's too much to read between the lines on the lyrics of this, delving into that drug use and how Lane used as a youth. And notes, I messed around as a little boy, grew up, made the blade my new toy. Friends said, boy, with what you screwing around? I said, don't concern yourselves and just give me another blast. And he notes in the chorus, take it away, don't want no more. Even if you say just one more, I won't leave you alone. He notes going in and out of rehab and yet still going back into addiction. Then we have that bridge going down the steps on a white line. Can't help but think of cocaine, of course, as that white line going down the steps on a white line straight to nowhere. And just as that addiction continues to grow within him, and you can feel that. And unfortunately for Lane, it didn't end well for him in that regard. No matter how much people try to help, man, addiction is obviously just a beast to tackle. All that to say, just love the vocal performance on this. The guitar again came in heavy and encapsulated some of the best things about this record, I think, and worked really strong as a closer. And that'll take us now, ladies and gentlemen, to my favorite tracks on this record, and there's a lot of them. I'll just go in order. I got Man in the Box, Sea of Sorrow was great, Bleed the Freak. This thing started off on absolute fire. I'm going to give some love to Love, Hate, Love, Confusion, and then Real Thing here, which ended us off. I mean, heck, that's like half the record I'm named off, which will now take me to my overall thoughts and score. Quite enjoyed this. No One in Love and Dirt, which, is their most famous record, coming back a couple years to where they started, man. It was very interesting to hear and see how, I could see where this was kind of used in Rooster, or maybe this was used in Sick Man, or the title track. Those little instances there where you could see them, build later on was quite cool, man. Obviously, you have the iconic Man in the Box, which is one of their most famous songs, and for good reason. But I think there's some nice deep cuts in here, like a Confusion, like a Real Thing, like a even Sunshine. I think those songs are really strong, and you showed off a lot of different sides of the band in this as well. Got a little funky at points, a little more straight hard rock at points, metal, bringing those metal riffs in, all while really kind of forming that grunge sound. I mean, we got to remember, this is before Pearl Jam and Nirvana got it big. This, I think, leans more into that grunge type of sound. What would it would be classified as the years go on. Lane absolutely kills it, man. Him and Cantrell, their harmonies going together throughout this record are just fantastic. I thought Starr was strong on the bass, and Cantrell's solos in here, man. Almost every song had a solo, which is somebody who loves to hear really great guitarists just go up there and shred. I was here for it, man. Interesting use of effects. The subject matter, man, kept it heavy and dark, and but not all the music was like that. There were still some kind of upbeat rockers in there to change pace a little bit. So I say all that to say I'm going to be giving it a strong 8 out of 10 for me today, man. And I'll be diving into this one more. And man, shout out to Alice in Chains. They're gonna probably end up taking the mantle from Nirvana, from my favorite grunge band, because Nirvana, I think everybody kind of starts with them in the grunge scene, so they're automatically your favorite, and then as you go out more, tastes change right there, man. So shout out to Alice in Chains. Shout out to Carl, man, for suggesting this for the channel today. Be sure to give him some love in the comments, as well as let me know what you think of Facelift. What are your favorite tunes on it? And we'll have some more AIC up in the channel in the coming months as well. If you'd like to support the channel in any way, you can check out our Patreon page, link down below, as well as at the end screen, along with another video that you might enjoy. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and I will see you